It's showtime. Howdy, guys. How are y'all doing? Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to the first Monday in December. Can you believe it? We're in the last month of the year. Pretty soon it's going to be 2024. I'm still trying to get used to the year 2000. When I was a kid, that seemed like so far away. And now here we are, 24 years past that. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. Welcome to all of y'all. Hope y'all are doing fantastic this evening. Let me start with a big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV. I love all the reality TV fans. I especially love you guys that are out here every Monday watching me live, and those that are watching on repeat a little bit later as well. I know not everyone has Monday Night Freeze, so thank y'all to all of y'all that catch me at one point or the other. I absolutely do appreciate it. As I always do, let me just throw this out at the beginning, then we'll move on to other things. If you haven't already done so, consider signing up, subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, and give the big old thumbs up while you're out there as well. Now that Big Brother's over, who knows when we'll be doing episodes, what I'll be covering next. Still trying to figure out. I think the next one I'll be covering in some form or manner is Reindeer Games. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Talk about that. I want to catch Squid Games. I want to get y'all's thoughts on Squid Games. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't give you a lot of summaries, but I really want to know what y'all think about that because I'm going to have to chase it down. All right. Before we go any further, let me just go out here and see because I see all these comments flashing across the screen. Get to them before there's 4,000. I can never get through them. So let me just see who's out here. Kennedy Franklin. First of all, Kennedy, I am sorry for the loss of your grandpa. I know how difficult that is. And trust me, I was absolutely thinking about you and hold on to those memories. Memories, they're not really gone as long as you get the memories, right? So I am sorry about that, Kennedy. All right, we've got Kennedy. We've got Ma out here as well. Ma, how are you doing? I had so much fun talking to everyone last week. We'll talk about that again in a second. But that was so much fun. So thank y'all for joining in as well. All right, Mark Taylor as well. Mark, how are you, sir? Marilyn Sutherland, Jake the horror movie geek. Jake, how are you, sir? Mike Johnson, Carissa West. Hi, Carissa, how are you? Beverly Brandon, Karen Loveland. Yeah, Beverly Hillbillies. We'll talk about it. There's some rhyme and reason to what I put out there. Amanda Lowe, Nunez 1919. How do you, Nunez? LJ Price, Taylor Mangus, Wyatt Garrett, JP. Hey, JP. Patty Bell. Let's see who else we got out there. Cindy Howard. Hey, Cindy, I'm so glad to see you out there. The werewolf mask. Should I? Welcome, werewolf mask. Terry Thomas, Matt B123. And I think I said Mark before, but Mark, I'll say it again. All right. And just say Maryland as well. If I didn't, Maryland, sorry about that. But I'm sure not going to want to forget you either. Welcome to all of you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Holidays, we're through Thanksgiving. We've got Christmas coming up. Before Christmas, though, for those of you who are of the Jewish persuasion, happy Hanukkah to you. I know it's a little early. I think it starts on Thursday, but this will be the last time I'm on before then. So happy Hanukkah to you. Have a blessed Hanukkah season. Those 8 crazy nights, right? I can't think of Hanukkah without thinking a little Adam Sandler mixed in as well and his song. And I just listened to that a day or two ago. I feel like it's always the holiday season when you start getting Mariah Carey singing the song that once she starts singing, I can't get out of my mind. And then Adam Sandler singing some of his Christmas and Hanukkah songs as well. So happy Hanukkah to all of y'all. All right, now. Some of you may have seen on my little reminder that I posted for the show coming up, a little black and white montage of me joining the Clampetts, the Beverly Hillbillies. I'm not saying it has anything to do whatsoever with the family Thanksgiving that we just got through celebrating, seeing all my family. But yeah, I just thought that was appropriate. Mike Johnson saying, you really don't look like a Clampett from Missouri. Well, I got a hat on. Clothes may be a little bit different. Share some of that wealth that Jed Clampett has, and I could change my clothing lifestyle a little bit. I was a huge fan of the Beverly Hillbillies growing up. Well, let me before that. The reason I put it out there, happy birthday, happy 86th birthday to Max Bayer Jr., who played Jethro. Yeah, Jethro Bodine, Jethro Clampett from the show. He is the only surviving person from the Beverly Hillbillies. That came out from like 1961 to 1969 or something. So I was born right in the middle of it. Do you know it is still it first 8 seasons? It was number 1 in the ratings. Last season it dropped off a little bit, and then they canceled it because they felt like it was making fun of people from the backwoods. Something I don't think people were too upset about, but I still remember it. Did you know Max Baer, though, who played Jethro, his dad was a very successful professional boxer. So yeah, just a little trivia I'd throw out to you. But yeah, happy birthday, Jethro. Hey, if I can superimpose me in with the Clampets, of course I'm going to do it, right? Karen Loveland saying, couldn't find you because the Beverly Hillbillies threw me off. Yeah, I was squeezed right in there with the midst of them. Yeah, watching that show growing up, I was always like, hey, if I'd been around, I wouldn't take advantage of them. I would have gone and hung out and helped them and been the most friendly person ever. And I would have eaten Granny's possum dinners, possum soups, and everything else. I would have been hanging out in that cement pond. And yeah, I think I could have had fun with the Clampets as my next door neighbors and friends. And then I started thinking, I actually spent time in the Big Brother house, which wasn't Beverly Hills, but it was in the general proximity. How fun it would have been if you have a Big Brother season that was themed on the Beverly Hillbillies. In fact, you could even just have a lot of folks that kind of fit in with all the different Beverly Hillbillies type people. Of course, don't they have that? Isn't that like Mississippi Shore or something, or Jersey Shore, the northern equivalent? I don't know, but I'm talking way too much about the Beverly Hillbillies, so we'll move on. But happy birthday to Max Baer. All right, let me a few questions before we go any more stories. Now that we're through with the Big Brother, I feel like I can just ramble and talk and just go off on tangents that y'all may or may not appreciate all the time. All right, Mark Taylor saying, any word on the goings on of the Reindeer Games starting on the 11th? Not a whole lot, but let me tell you what I do know. First of all, it starts December 11th, next Monday. So we've got a little decision to make on that, and I'll come back to that in a second. As far as the actual show, 6 episodes. And so you may have heard some of this. Some of it I just saw in the last day or two. 6 episodes, 9 people starting. The first 5 episodes, you're going to lose 1 person every episode. So by the time you get to the final episode, there'll be 4 people left. They'll compete to see who wins the grand prize of $1 million. Right? Now, that sounds all right. Now, a few other things I've heard. We've seen some promos that have been coming out and down CBS. The competitions that they're showing are not actually from the Reindeer Games. There's some winter-themed competitions that they had back in season 16 and season 18. So if we see the slip and slide and some of the comps on there, it doesn't mean it's going to be part of Reindeer Games. And if you see some of the people competing, I think Nicole Renzel is on there, and doesn't mean they're in the house. That's just showing from back then. So don't get your hopes up or down based on who you like or don't like that they showed on there. But that's the way it's going to work. And apparently every episode, you'll have people competing in 3 competitions. And based on how they do it on those competitions, somehow there'll then be a Santa surprise or Santa's, I don't know, face off, beard off or something. There'll be some kind of final competition that will determine who goes home that week. So it sounds like 4 competitions per episode, and then at the very end there'll be 3, and then the very final one where instead of deciding who goes home, whoever wins that very last competition wins $100K. Now, $100K isn't the $500,000 from Big Brother, or now $750,000, but for a week's worth of work, that isn't too shabby, is it? Forget Beverly Hills. Move me a little further north into Burbank and let me just live in the Big Brother house for a week. Sounds pretty good. I also have heard they aren't necessarily going to be living in the house. I'm not sure we're going to see that. They're going to be competing on a stage. I'm kind of thinking they'll be in the house just for background and scenery and all of that. But there won't be any live feeds. And I have a feeling once all the competitions are over for the day, they'll get shuttled off to some sequester spot somewhere close by and do that. So we won't see the votes. We won't see evictions, anything like that. It's going to be purely 100% competition. Picture the challenge Christmas theme with Big Brother people instead of the typical challenge folks and all that. That's the way I imagine it. Now, other things is it's not going to be filmed live. There won't be live feeds or anything else. A little birdie, someone who is a huge part of this Cliff Notes live show, and I'm not going to throw out names because I'm not sure if they want it to be known, but someone actually sent me a little deal and talked to people at the lot in Burbank who told them that filming at the Big Brother house they thought was going to be taking place this week, right? So that could make sense. You could have our house guest over in on the CBS studio lot that maybe started filming yesterday, maybe filming today, film over the next 6 days or so. So get it all in a single week. They'll be done by next Sunday or so, which gives them plenty of time to start editing the first episode, have it ready for Monday night. And so we'll see the whole thing. So I wish I had a drone that I could just fly over the CVS lot and see who may be in the backyard. Of course, that's the thing. All these comps, because there's so many competitions taking place, they can't all take place in the backyard. They don't have enough time to build everything in that quick a time period. So I would expect the backyard, some alternate locations like we saw in BB25, maybe even a few that are offsite or somewhere else. I don't know. There may not be a lot of filming that goes on this time of year anyway, but with the writer's strike, who knows? But they're going to be filming it all, I think, over this next week. And that's about it. That's all I know. So I don't know. I'm excited. I want to see what it's like. See, it's not Big Brother. It doesn't have the strategy. It doesn't have the gameplay and the alliances and all of that. You may have some way. We don't know if they're going to be playing in teams or what. But that's going to be interesting. All right, now the big question I've got, and I really want to get y'all's input on this. The first episode is next Monday, 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central. Is there anything else going on during that time period? Why, yes, there is. Cliff Notes Live. Hey, come on, CBS. You didn't come to me and ask about my schedule first. Nah, they didn't. Of course they didn't. So it is a conflict because I'm supposed to be doing the show at the same time that Reindeer Games is coming on. It's going to also be on the following Monday night, but after the first one, it's going to be at 9:00 Eastern, 8:00 Central. So it's no big deal. But the first episode next Monday is a 2-hour episode. It starts at exactly the same time as my show. So I've got two opinions I'm going to throw out there, and I'd be curious to see which y'all would rather do. Option number one would be I guess there's more than two options, but the two I'm looking at primarily, one would be to do it an hour early, do it from 7 o'clock Eastern, 6:00 Central, do it for 1 hour. As soon as it's over, then flip over and watch the Reindeer Games. I'm thinking about that. But the other option, which could be a little fun, is to actually watch the show live on Cliff Notes Live. So do the show at the regular time. I don't know if I'll do the full hour, 2 hours, or I'll just do the first hour and then we'll walk away. Maybe it depends on how fun the show is. But maybe watch the show. For copyright reasons, I really don't think I could do a split screen with the actual CBS telecast on here and then me on the other side. They may take issue at that. I have a feeling I'll end up on Santa's naughty list if I do something, or at least CBS's naughty list. So I'm not doing that. But there is a possibility that I could just kind of watch it on TV while y'all also watch it on TV. It's going to be on CBS and Paramount Plus. So as long as you get one or the other, you should be able to watch it as well. Maybe we can all watch it together, talk about the competitions, have some comments back and forth, do something like that. But again, either do that or the other option is do the show early. What do y'all think? Let me know, and maybe we'll go with kind of the consensus out there and see how we want to do it. Because I'm definitely planning to watch it one way or the other, and it could be kind of fun to watch it with you guys and see what y'all think. Because I don't even know, are they going to tell us who's going to be on this show beforehand, or a cast release type deal like you get with Big Brother, or are they going to just try to surprise us completely by doing similar to Big Brother All-Stars, where we didn't know until people actually walked out into the house who was going to be on the show or not? They may try to surprise us. And if so, it's going to make it that much more fun to watch. I'm watching people that I know from the Big Brother world to see who is still making Instagram posts and who has suddenly gone silent and all of that. And I don't know. Kat Dunn said Ovi was going to be on there. First of all, if Ovi, and I don't think she was serious, but she could be. Kat has some connections. I would love to see Ovi get to play some kind of other game, Reindeer Games, Big Brother, whatever. I'm not sure that he would be in there because unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to prove himself from a competition standpoint. And this is all about the comps. So I think they're going to get people in there who really made a name for themselves from a competition standpoint as opposed to social games and things like that. Just my thoughts. But having said that, I'd love to see Ovi in there. Someone from Big Brother 25 is going to be on there. I still think my two guesses would be either Cameron or Izzy. Either one of them I could maybe see doing it. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm looking forward to it though. So yeah, and we're gonna have fun talking about it. I don't know that I'll cover every single episode. We'll just cover it on the Monday night shows in one form or another. All right, a few questions and comments as we get into this. Jake, the horror movie geek, saying enjoying Survivor this season. Hope Jake from Barton wins. Jake's kind of growing on me. He at first, being an attorney, I don't know what it is. Why is it about attorneys? I immediately kind of say, He was very vulnerable at the tribal council last week. For those of you who saw it, spoiler alert, we'll talk about things if you haven't seen it, so be warned. He pretty much said, I hate feeling dumb in there. I know there were times in Big Brother house, especially in the early part, where you just sit there and you see people that seem to have it so together. They're talking to all the people, they're laughing, they're hanging out, they just seem to be fitting in so well. And you're looking around saying, am I just the outcast? As much as I'm trying, I don't know that I'm necessarily getting clued in. I'm not sure that I'm aware of everything that's going on. You worry about that all the time. And I can only picture Jake where he's gotten targeted a few times already, that it just doesn't feel like he's done whatever it takes to get in with everyone else. So we saw that. So Jake, yeah, I could certainly see him winning. And hey, Jake, I could see maybe another reason to be cheering on. What did y'all think about that last episode? I gotta say, Bruce, he walked off the island, or at least down the road a little bit, with an idol in his pocket. Emily, blind, she just had him fooled. She had him convinced it wasn't going to be him. It was going to be Julie instead that went out the door. Emily was not my favorite on the first episode. I was like, she seemed very, very sure of herself, more than she probably needs to be showing. But she's kind of grown on me as well. She's figured her way back into this game and is now playing a major role in it. As brilliant as it was what she did to get Bruce out, I just don't know if it was the right move, because that Reba tribe, was it Drew and Austin and Dee and who am I leaving out? Julie, maybe. I can't remember the fourth one. They seem so strong. If I'm Emily, I'm kind of thinking maybe she needed to hold on to Bruce a little bit longer, but whatever. It was fun watching it anyway. Yeah, I'm glad Bruce got a second chance to play the game. He just didn't necessarily click as well as maybe he should have with some other folks. And he just kind of rubbed people the wrong way. That was one of my worst fears being in that Big Brother house was, Lord, here I am going as a 50-something-year-old guy, and I got all these 20-year-olds. They're just, I'm going to say something. They're going to look at me as like, the dad figure that we don't need in here. I was going to end up accidentally correcting someone the way they were cooking or sleeping or cleaning or whatever. I was trying to be so careful not to be the dad guy in there. To some degree, I still was. You can't help it, but yeah. But I was glad to see Bruce get his second chance to play the game. Now I don't know who I want to cheer for at this point in time. I'd be fine with Jake winning. I'd be fine with Emily winning. I'd be fine with Austin or Drew winning. Couture, she's been doing a pretty good job as well. It was kind of her versus Bruce for a long time. Well, she came out on top, right? I saw the exit interview that he said that he and Couture are still, they have a civil relationship, which kind of struck me as maybe not the best relationship ever. It's got to be hard for them. By the time we got through with our season of Big Brother, you had a chance. It was all over. And then you could start healing and getting to know people and all that. When you're watching Survivor, you're seeing every episode more of the edit, and maybe you're seeing people saying things about you that you didn't see. So it's almost like the wounds are a little bit fresher throughout the season. You're already home, but you're seeing people say things about you for the first time. So it may take them a little bit longer in some ways, but good season so far. I am curious to see how that all plays out. All right, Matt B123 saying, hi, Cliff, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Christmas season, at least. I guess we got a few weeks, but It feels like it, right? Beginning of, I don't want to give Violet copyright. I don't know if YouTube would come after it. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. I can say that, right? And Terry Thomas is saying, me and the kids are doing Christmas in New York. Now, that sounds pretty cool. I've been all over the world. I've never been to New York City. Yeah, believe it or not, I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. But no, never been to New York City. But I may be going up there for Nicole's wedding next spring, which will be kind of cool. But Christmas in New York, the Rockefeller, the ice skating, a little more snow than we get down here in Houston. Sounds kind of fun. Enjoy the adventure. I think that sounds pretty cool. Mark saying, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? Oh gosh, I don't know. It depends on the year. Now, I'll say the biggest tradition is just getting together with the family, and along with that, pranks and just feeling comfortable with everyone. As I got some Thanksgiving pranks that we did just here a week or so ago. I'll talk about those, but probably my favorite tradition is just the family itself. Now, it depends a little bit, and the reason I hesitate is because when my kids were younger, them getting up in the morning and them getting gifts, but really I just remember Sharon and I watching them getting gifts, and we're sitting drinking some hot chocolate or coffee, and normally on TV we'd have not so much a fire going on the fireplace because Santa and all that, but TV we'd have a little Yule log or Bevo from the Longhorns playing or something, something like that. Christmas music playing in the background. And I remember just being able to sit back and just watch everyone just relaxed and happy and enjoying each other's company. That's my favorite tradition. But beyond that, that's really it. We do the little things. Decorating the tree is always fun. Some people have the very formal trees with all the very fancy decorations. Not us. Our Christmas tree is developed over the years. It's decorations that the kids made in school. Pictures of them that we picked up here or there, arts and crafts, ornaments that someone got once upon a time in a gift exchange, and we've put them up there every single year since then. A lot of those kind of things. So it's all about the memories, I think, when it comes down to Christmas. Same way to some degree with Thanksgiving, but especially Christmas. It's just spending time together as a family. All right. I'll forget about it if I don't do it now. So I did have a few pranks during the Thanksgiving week, and I didn't get to talk about last week because we were so busy with all of us visiting. I had so much fun doing that, but I didn't get a chance to talk about the pranks. So I got two different ones I'm going to throw out that we tried to do this year. Now, let me say this. I've got some nieces and nephews who are 9 and 7 and 7, those kind of ages. And so I decided that this year, instead of me being the prankster, it was time to pick up my little Padawans, Padawan pranksters, become a mentor for the younger generation and teach them all the pranks that their parents are going to hate me for. And my brother and the brothers and sister-in-laws probably weren't real happy, but I pulled them in and said, all right, guys, do y'all want to be part of the pranks this year? Oh, yeah. They were so excited. The problem at that age, they can't keep a straight face and they can't keep a secret. Hey, they might have well have been on Big Brother this season because they couldn't keep secrets for the life of me. I'd tell them something we were going to do. 5 minutes later, they're in there laughing and say, oh, we're getting ready to prank you. Well, that's not the way it works, guys. So we had to have a little discussion about the way pranks and subterfuge works and all that. See, I'm getting them ready for the next generation of Big Brother players. But the first thing that we did, we had to have a little prop, and I'll just show it to you right now. Do you recognize that? Let me hold a little closer. Yes, beef bouillon cubes. Oh, such a great thing. I actually had these in the Big Brother house. Bouillon cubes, for those of you who smell as soon as I pull that. For those of you who may not be aware, little brown squares that you take out, size of a sugar cube. You put it in water, it dissolves, it forms a very nice brothy beef soup. You can add it to stock when you're cooking, and it adds more flavor and all of that. It's great when you mix it with water and cook. Not so great when you stick it in someone's Coke can or glass of wine or water bottle or whatever else may be sitting around the house. So yeah, we task some of the younger pranksters with very, very sneakily putting some bouillon cubes in different people's beverages of choice, and then sitting back and watching their reactions. And it was fun. Again, we didn't do as many of them because they couldn't keep the secret. They spoiled it. Someone would take the first drink, they'd take a sip, and one of the kids start laughing, and then they'd say, "What?" Or one of the kids would come up and say, "Here, Mom, would you like a drink? Here, drink this, Mom." Well, that immediately raises alarm bells, right? So we had a few that didn't go off so well. But what was funny is you drop one of these in a Coke glass, can of Coke. The first sip or two you take is just fine because it hadn't really dissolved yet. But as you continue to drink, more and more dissolves. And we would watch people who would just start to, this Coke tastes bad. What's going on with this Coke? And of course, then we'd all fall apart laughing. So that was our first prank. I did that in the Big Brother house. I took bouillon cubes. I put it in. Christy had a half drunk Coke once. I put it in her drink, and it was like an hour later, she came back to get her drink, took a sip, spit it everywhere, thought it was disgusting. And then everyone else, instead of coming up with their own pranks, they started trying to prank each other with the same bouillon cubes. So within a day or two, you couldn't drink anything. You couldn't eat anything because no matter what you had, someone to put a bouillon cube in it and contaminated every bit of food in our fridge. Not sure Jackson Mickey was real appreciative of it, but the rest of us had a lot of fun. So that was prank number one. Prank number two. We've got my son and his wife, my daughter and her husband, both have a dog each. One of my brothers has a dog, so we had a lot of dogs at this Thanksgiving event, and where the adults were, where everyone was for Thanksgiving, the animals couldn't really be. Lots of plates of turkey and things like that. So the dogs were all assigned a little side yard, which has artificial turf, which means that these same prankster kids that I was mentoring had the responsibility of cleaning up any dog mess that happened to occur throughout the entire day. And so they were having to take turns going out with a little scooper and a little plastic bag and gather things up whenever anything happened. And I happened to mention to one of them that, those bags, when you're carrying them in here, sure look like something's in there that would be pretty funny to not throw. Let me recall it. It'd be pretty funny to have people thinking what was in there, whether it is or not, which led to the idea that you could take a little dinner roll, just put a little water on it so it got a little soggy, put it in a bag, carry that around, and then throw it in someone's lap when you're walking by, or just go set it on a seat right when they get ready to sit down, sit it down next to them, things like that, and let their imagination think that it could be something else in the bag. You know where I'm heading, right? And so they spend a lot of time running around with bags with little dinner rolls in them and putting them in people's laps and putting them behind them as they lean back in a chair and things like that. And a lot of reactions from that. So yeah, we had fun. The kids had fun. One of these days I will rue the day that I taught them all my black book tricks and pranks, because I'm going to be the victim, and I better be a good sport and laugh along. I will, because I'll know that I trained them well. Yeah, I thought that's maybe my favorite part of holidays. It's just getting together with the whole family, so I get to do a few pranks here and there. So, long answer, but that's the way I roll, guys. Yeah, we had fun. They're going to learn another few years. They're going to be masters as well. And then I'll hand over the reins. All right. Ma is saying Cameron, Taylor, Michael, and someone else are confirmed. Thank you, Ma. I hadn't seen that. That's great. All right. So Michael, I can see that. Cameron, yeah. Taylor, oh, okay. She won the wall challenge, right? And she did okay in that one challenge where if it wasn't for Paloma going home, it could have been an eviction. As it turns out, they were safe no matter what, if I recall. So she had one or two. I don't really think of Taylor as a comp beast, though, the way I think of Cameron and Michael. But it's all right. Yeah, you want to have a good mix and all of that. So I could see that happening. All right. So three out of the 9. So we've got 1/3 of the cast potentially identified. I can see them doing it across a couple of different. That's the main thing. I don't want a whole lot of people from any one season. They need to be spread out. So you've got, that actually makes a lot of sense. So you've got, but do you want Taylor and Michael both from the same season? I would rather see it spread out a little bit more than that. I'd almost rather have seen Nothing gets Taylor. I almost would have gone for Tiffany Mitchell before Taylor, but again, Tiffany was such a strong social game player, so maybe I can see why they didn't get her. But I don't know. Who I'd complain. I'm just looking forward to a little bit more Big Brother house activity in whatever form it has. But all right, thank you, Ma. I did not know that. I hadn't seen that. All right, Taylor Mangus is saying, have you kept up with any cast relations postseason like Instagram lives or Twitter? A little bit of it. Every once in a while, if I see someone out there on Instagram live, I'll pop in and I'll say hi. The problem is I don't want to take away from anyone else. And every once in a while, when I go into one of those things, everyone's so busy saying, "Hey, Cliff," and all that, and then I want them to have their chance to shine. So normally I just go out there. I'll kind of listen to them talk and all that. I have seen some of the posts that they've made and all of that, and I watched one, Corey and America still hanging out and acted a little silly. I almost don't recognize Corey now because he shaved the stash, so he looks young all of a sudden. So young to have played that game. But yeah, they're all out there having fun. I did see a fun one with Cameron and his daughter out there. Some posts and all that, which I always love to see. I've talked to quite a few of them through DMs and text messages and things like that. Welcome to the Big Brother family and all that. And it seems like they're all having fun. Of all the ones I've seen so far, my favorite, and if you haven't seen it, maybe it's worth going out there and looking for. Yeah, a lot of them are doing their unboxing of their Big Brother memorabilia because they're starting to get that stuff in now. And so they've done some of that. My favorite one, though, is Felicia Cannon. She got her box in, and she tried to film it. But what happened? At one point, just as she started filming, the camera, I guess, flipped down. So all you see is the carpet, and you hear her talking, but you can't see anything. And then someone realizes what's going on. So she lifts the camera back up, but somehow got turned around. So now everything is upside down while she's trying to do her reveal. And then finally she figures it out. But by then she's opened up half her stuff. So that was fun. It just seems like Felicia may have not really been playing a character in the house. That's just kind of what Felicia's like, which I like to see. But I've seen that. I saw most of them are out on Cameo. Doing cameos, so they're trying to capture a little extra mole while they can and all that, and go for it. I still do a few cameos. I love doing those things. So they're out there as well and doing some of that as well. So yeah, I probably have not kept up with it as much as some people are. Some people are very passionate about these house guests. The whole Matt and Riley and Corey and America and Felicia was saying that, maybe she and Sari aren't really necessarily talking a lot outside the house, which short term, I get it. People just want to get away. They want to be with their families. I'm sure Sari just wants to kind of take a breath. Hopefully things change a little bit later and all 16 of 17, I guess. Well, 16. I saw Luke even talk to a few people, but yeah, I hope they all become a nice tight family with a shared experience. For the most part, my season did. There's one or two people who just kind of wanted to move on, but I think I follow all 15 of my fellow house guests and wouldn't have it any other way. All right. JP is saying, I would have been next door at the Drysdales. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, is it Martha Drysdale? I can't remember what her first name was. She seemed to be pretty picky about who graced her presence and all that, right? But yeah, Drysdales versus Clampets. I feel like they were both doing pretty well. YTC JCS star 1015. Do you miss season Big Brother 25? And how has your schedule changed since Big Brother went off? Way more sleep. Do I miss it? No, not yet. It got to be a grind at the end. I enjoyed it. Maybe not my all-time favorite season, just because I didn't feel like you had as much flip-flopping power struggles as I would have hoped. And even some of the twists, like Jag's invisible HOH. Oh, there was so much potential, and he told everyone that he was the HOH, which just blew the whole deal. I wish they'd done that earlier in the season so no one knew who was the HOH, and it would have been a lot more fun. So it was a good season, but I don't know that it was a great season for a few reasons like that. And there at the end, that last week or two, when you pretty much knew what was going to happen, The big decision really was just, is Jag going to take Matt, or is he going to take Bowie Jane? How did I forget that so quick? Whether he's going to take Bowie Jane or Matt. But other than that, there was just a lot of downtime. So no, I'm not saying I miss it yet, especially because it happens so much later than most Big Brothers do. Normally, you've got Big Brother all summer long. About the time it wraps up, you're really getting into football season and the fall and all of that. This time, Big Brother is over, and I'm immediately getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I feel like everything's a little bit rushed as a result. So how's my schedule changed? Just a lot more sleep. I don't have to go to sleep earlier, because when I watch a show, because I'm up watching live feeds, it's a lot more nap time. Get home from work, take a little bit of a nap, get caught up to speed on what I may have missed during the early evening, get caught up to speed, then do notes throughout the evening. And so the sleep is very sporadic. Whereas now I can actually get up at a normal hour and get work done and all of that. So now I miss it only because it's probably my favorite show of all. But even the best chocolate cake, sometimes you got to take a little bit of a break from it and eat something a little different, right? And I feel the same way with Big Brother. As much as I love the show, I can't watch it 365 a year. You think my hair's gray and the circles under my eyes now? Try that. So yeah, no, it's I'm ready for the break, but another month or so, and I'll be ready for Celebrity or 26 or Big Brother Canada, all of the above coming up as well. All right, Ma saying, I get to perform a monologue tomorrow. Cool. Tried out for a spring production, but didn't get cast, and I'm a theater major. I'm heartbroken, beginning to think acting isn't for me. Well, don't give up too quick, Ma. There's about 1,000,001 actors that are out in Hollywood that didn't make their first casting call, didn't make their 10th, 20th, whatever. I mean, it's not easy. You got to be patient with everything. If it's too easy, is it really worth it? Yeah, you're in your freshman year, right? Let me tell you a story or two real quick on that. First of all, my freshman year at A&M, I was ready to go do something else because I was having a little too much fun hanging around and playing around. And I quickly realized there were a whole lot of other people going to college that were very smart and doing very well. And it took me a while to figure out, I don't know, maybe I didn't have to study in high school as much as I probably should have. And I just kind of made it through anyway, because it took me a while to figure out how college classes operate and how you prepare for tests and all that. And once I did, I was fine. But I remember some times during my first semester where I was like, geez, obviously this isn't for me. I better have a plan B all worked out. Here's another story. When I got out of school with a petroleum engineering degree, I was picturing working as an engineer in the office. I'll drill a hole right here. You'll make $1 billion and all. Now the price of oil is $13 a barrel. No one was hiring anyone in the oil field. It was the worst time in the oil field in the last 100 years, probably. And I ended up working as a roughneck on a drilling rig, which means the guys who have zero education, not even a grade school education, are the ones who work as roughnecks. And I was out there working on a rig, doing the hardest, most manual labor. I'll tell y'all stories one of these days, because it was the hardest job I've ever done in my entire life. My mom drove by my first week working. She was helping me try to find a place because I was so busy I couldn't even find a place to stay. She drove by me and didn't even stop or recognize me because I was so covered with oil and dirt and everything else that she didn't know who I was. You see those movies, the oil well explodes and they're all just looking up. They're covered in oil and all that. It wasn't quite like that for me. You just got the oil throughout the day. I've never felt so bad about any job I ever had, but I fought through it. And it took 1.5 years of doing it before I finally moved into some other stuff, got into engineering more the way I wanted to and all that. So sometimes it takes a while, Mott. Don't worry about it. One production that you missed out on, that's nothing. That doesn't, of course, it's easy for me to say. I know you want everything to happen immediately. Just realize sometimes it doesn't. And you got to just be determined. You got to be focused and enjoy the journey. Right? That's the other thing. There may be somewhere down the road where you're going to say, I missed out on that first one, But hey, if I'd made it, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do this, or I wouldn't have learned how to handle X, Y, and Z. All of life is a lesson, good and bad. So here I am saying I don't want to be the father in the Big Brother house, and I feel like I'm throwing out that kind of Ward Cleaver advice or Mike Brady type advice. But hey, it is who I am. Don't worry about Ma. You're gonna have others, plenty of others to go. And when you get your first, when you're the big star, I'll be in the theater. I'll be watching you. You're gonna make it. Just fight every step of the way and enjoy. Once you make it, you're gonna have the stories to tell the same way. Oh, it was so hard when I first started, and now here I am. All right, Kennedy Franklin saying, "How are you going to do Christmas? It's on a Monday." I don't know yet. I don't know. I got to think about it. We may do a show because it's Christmas. I mean, I feel like y'all in a lot of ways are my family, my reality TV family, right? So we may still do something. Will it be a full hour? I don't know. It'll be full. We'll see. I may be sitting there eating turkey and ham the whole time. Maybe I'll be hanging out in the yard watching for reindeer stuff. I don't know. We'll figure out, Kennedy. I don't know, but I want to do a little something right around then. We'll figure it out. All right, Karen Loveland saying, "Is that you in the Santa suit on the plane?" Yeah. Well, other than the different hats, a little similarity, right? And I shaved earlier than that, but no, it's not. Let me give you the background. Thank you for pointing that because I kind of forgot about it. A little story for you guys. And the reason I bring this one up is because I saw that today is National Letter to Santa Day. I guess you have a national day, you get the kids to write their letters to Santa so it has plenty of time to reach the North Pole. Gives parents plenty of warnings about what gifts their kids may be wanting and to be expecting. And but Letter to Santa Day is officially today. And it made me think talk about family traditions. It made me think about an experience with my grandparents from a long, long time ago, because I am 58 now, and I guess I was about 8 or so when it happened, maybe. So call it 50 years ago. But my grandfather was in the military. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Army, but he flew planes. And so back then you didn't have the Air Force, you had the Air Corps. But he was part of the Air Corps while he was active military. Well, before I was ever born, he retired out of the service and all that. So he had that. But there was an Air Force base near where I lived, where they lived, Carswell Air Force Base outside of Fort Worth. Big Strategic Air Command headquarters, bunch of big old bombers and jets and all kinds of planes flying overhead. Because he was retired military, he and my Granny Hogg could go out to the base and go to the PX to shop for groceries. It was cheaper. Go to the commissary where all the Walmart kind of store was, get all that stuff. So once every couple of weeks or so, my brother Robert and I would get in the car with Granny and Granddaddy Hogg, go out to the base so they could do their shopping. And Robert and I were always impressed because since he had retired as an officer, as a lieutenant colonel, he'd pull up to the gate with his sticker on the car. These soldiers would see him, they immediately saluting him, and we thought, "Oh, hey, Granddaddy's a big guy out here." But we weren't allowed in the commissary when they did their shopping. They said, "Yeah, because y'all aren't our kids, you're our grandkids, y'all aren't allowed. You're gonna just have to stay out in the car." So they'd roll the windows down. My brother and I just play in the back seat for it seemed like hours, which nowadays maybe people give you a hard time. Back then, no big deal. And as I think about it, I don't know if they really didn't allow us in the commissary or my grandparents just liked being able to do the grocery shopping without the two of us running around and grabbing everything. But we would hang out for hours on end out in the car. But I remember one particular time they told us, they said, "Hey, Christmas is coming up." They do have next to the commissary, they've got a smaller store that's the toy store that's set up just for Christmas, all the kids on base and all that. If y'all behave, when we get done, we'll take you over there and let's get a little Christmas list together and you can write your letters to Santa. Yeah, sure. So we were probably the best behaved ever during that particular little trip. So sure enough, they got done with all the shopping, loaded everything in the car. At that point, they said, "Okay, let's go over to the toy store and we'll put a little Santa's list together." So we both went in. We both had a little list and it said, "Santa, I've been good," or whatever. And we walked back and forth in the aisles of this toy store and wrote down things that we thought, well, maybe we would like from Santa Claus. And grandparents helping us a little bit, but basically we got a little list together at the end. And they said, "Okay, well, that's great. Let's go in the car. We'll put it in an envelope, and then we'll mail it to Santa right now." So, "Oh, okay, well, that's great." So we filled all of that out, got ready to do it, and then my granddad surprised us by saying, "All right, here's the deal. The planes, you see all these planes flying back and forth? Some of those are going to the North Pole. We're not going to send it through the mail. We're going to send it by jet fighter. The jets are going to fly up to the North Pole. They will drop them off directly with Santa Claus. He'll have y'all's letters within the next few hours." And my brother and I are like, "Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. That's incredible, right?" So, but he had to take the letters back into the toy store to drop them off. Right? Yeah, yeah. You see where this is going, right? So he took them back in. We expected to come right back out. No, it actually took, I don't know, 30 minutes or so of us waiting while he was in the toy store trying to get these letters mailed. Well, eventually he came back out and told us that, "Oh, sorry it took so long, but we had a little bit of an issue. The planes had already gone down the runway. We're taking off for the North Pole." He said, "But because of who I am, I talked to the people at the toy store. They got on the phone. They talked to the commander of the base. The commander called the pilots on the radio back. And the pilots actually came all the way back over here. I don't know if you saw them, but they were parked right behind the toy store. And once the planes got out back, I ran out there and I gave them y'all's letters. So I handed the letters directly to the pilots. They're now flying that way. They're going to have them to Santa here in the next hour." So yeah, we were very impressed. So that's how it worked. And funniest thing, we got home, and as it turns out, on Christmas Day, we had a few of the gifts that were on our list. So obviously, the letter did get to Santa, and Santa was paying attention when those jets flew overhead. Sure, he was, right? So yeah, so there's my little. I saw that picture and I thought, all right, there's you can actually see it over here. Lieutenant Colonel W. Hogg and Lieutenant Colonel K. Kringle. Yeah, it brings back some fun memories. So there's my little Christmas letter to Santa story for y'all for this particular evening. All right, let's see what else we got. My mom, Sue Hogg. Hey, Mom. The girls didn't hesitate to throw their Uncle Cliff under the bus when confronted. Yeah, let's follow up on that. And names to remain anonymous. I have two nieces, so I'll just leave it at that. One of them, we came up with another prank with it. My sister-in-law starts drinking a glass of wine. She was a little suspicious because her daughter had already said, "Hey, Mom, drink this wine." And she thought, well, maybe they did something, but she didn't think, kind of forgot about it. She starts drinking it. She starts realizing that it's not really tasting the way she wants it to. And finally she says, "This is horrible. What's going on? What's going on?" I'm laughing. Well, meanwhile, her two daughters ran upstairs so they couldn't get the blame for it. They're hiding somewhere so that they don't get blamed for putting anything in her glass of wine. And so I thought, all right, well, this is a perfect opportunity. So then I grabbed one of my other sister-in-laws and said, "Hey, go tell the girls that their mom is down here throwing up because she drank that bouillon cube and it disagreed with her. Now she's throwing up all over the house and she's wondering who put that bouillon cube in her glass of wine. And she's not feeling well at all." Turn a prank on the prankster type deal, right? So my sister-in-law went up and told the two of them, said, "Just so you know, your mom's down there throwing up because it tasted so horrible." One of my two nieces took about 2 seconds to turn around to my sister-in-law and say, "I don't know anything about it. It was Uncle Cliff. He's the one that did it. I just knew he did it. I didn't know anything about it, though. It was Uncle Cliff. I just found out about it later." Threw me under the bus without hesitation. So yeah, so I did that. And then later, well, you can't see on here. Later, I wrote her name on the top of the jar. And when she came back down, finally, after several hours of not wanting to be seen, when she finally came back down, I told her, and her mom said, "You were the one behind it. Look, it's even got your name on the top of the jar." She's like, I didn't write that. I didn't write that. So, well, who else would write your name on the bouillon cube jar? Of course it was you. She was behind it all. I had nothing to do with it. It was all her. So we had fun pointing the finger at each other and blaming each other. But yeah, she wasn't gonna take the rap for that one. She was ready to throw, but she did throw me under the bus. It's all right. Hey, play Big Brother. I'm teaching her well. All right. Urban Hermit said how's the integrity of the game maintained with when a juror votes who played the worst game? When a juror votes who played the worst game. Yeah, I truly feel I actually talked to the psychologist / therapist while I was in sequester saying, how do I decide who to vote for? Do I vote for the person who deserves it the most during my season? Deserves it the most, or the person who maybe I think is the nicer of the two people? And I was told there is no wrong vote. Whatever you decide is okay because there's no rules about the voting. That's part of the game, is social management and all of that. So because of that, anyone who votes, I'm not a huge fan of bitter jurors. I really like to see people respect the game. So if someone votes for someone who obviously was not the best player, personally, it's not what I would do, but I'm not going to hold it against them too much because there is a little bit of that social management, jury management that's involved with that as well. So I just kind of bite my tongue and move on with it. It's not how I would vote, but I'm not going to say they're wrong. I just respect the game, right? I always like to see when you don't have a whole lot of that. Patty Bell saying, does it bug you when the whole house votes together? It annoys me. Well, I get it. But coming from a guy who I think pretty much voted with the house just about every vote, I also understand why you don't. We all like to see the hinky votes being cast and people getting paranoid and all of that. But when you're in that house, you don't want to do anything that's going to potentially get a finger pointed at you. And I know there were times where I thought about, I could throw out a hinky vote, but one, if it's someone that is a friend of mine that I'm casting this hinky vote for, are they going to point the finger at me? I felt so horrible when Ovi went home on week number 1, and I ended up voting to send him out the door. I didn't want Ovi to go. Not in a million years did I want Ovi to go, but I still voted to send him out the house because I had been on the block just a few days before, and I thought there was a very good chance I was going to go on the block again. And I wanted so hard to try to convince people that I was on board to work with them. And so sure enough, it was a unanimous vote, which meant that there was no one who went against the house. So everyone knew for 100% fact that I had voted to send Ovi out the door. And so as much as it broke my heart to do it, it also gave me the opportunity to go talk to everyone else and say, look, I just voted out Ovi. And y'all know the two of us were tied. You overheard me talking about an alliance. So the fact that I did that, hopefully it shows y'all that I'm not going to let emotions play with the way I play the game. If I say I'm going to work with you, don't think that if I say that, it means that I'm not willing to cut other people I may be friends with in order to work with you guys going forward. So it was very much a strategy voting with the house. If one person cast a hinky vote, that first vote, lots of people could have pointed the finger at me or Nicole, and said, hey, one of y'all obviously it was pretty tight with them, and maybe you should be next, because they're looking for any excuse. So I get it 100%. And there certainly are times later on in the game where you probably wouldn't have to vote with the house. But you still, when you're in there, you're just so paranoid that people are going to accuse you of not being with the majority. And if it's someone that's going out the door, for example, when Jessica put up Mickey and Jack, and in that time I wanted to be with the majority, I could have thrown out a hinky vote to really make people paranoid, because no one would have blamed me for it in that situation. They would have thought it was someone else. But then you run the risk that, my God, what if I throw out a hinky vote and a couple other people do it, and suddenly the wrong person goes home? And now I've people are going to be watching home saying, well, that idiot, he voted for the wrong person and now he's paying the price. Karma's hell, right? So you're always worried about what people are thinking watching at home if you cast a vote, and trying to protect your position. And all of a sudden, by the end of it, everyone's voting with the house. Yeah, as a viewer, I don't like it either, but as a player, I understand it. I get it completely. Hinky votes are overrated in terms of strategy, I think. Now, there are a few times where it can work wonderfully. You just have to be really gutsy to do it, I think. All right. Oh, wow. 7:57. So quick. All right, guys. Wow. All right. We'll go ahead and shut down here. I'm reading the comments. Most want regular time and watch and chat together for Reindeer Games next week. All right. We may try that. I got a week to think about it, but let's tentatively plan that we watch it. I will assume that most of y'all will have access either through Paramount Plus or CBS, that we can watch it together, since I can't show it on the screen, that we can watch it together. We'll talk a little bit about all the competitions, who the players are, what we think people are going to do. During the commercials, we can talk a lot more. It will give me a chance to read the comments a little bit more as well, and keep up with a little bit more. So we may try that. 1 hour versus 2. Depends on how my voice goes and all that. We'll play it by ear, but tentatively next week, episode number 158, Reindeer Games special episode. We'll be watching it live together, and we'll decide how this little mini season is going to work out. So, all right, I'm in if y'all are, guys. It'll be fun. I think it's going to be interesting. And if it doesn't work, we'll do something else. No one's hurt. No one's paying money to go out here. No one. We're just out here having fun. So if it works, great. If not, we'll move on to something else. But next week, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, Cliff Notes Live, a special Reindeer Games episode, premiere episode. Plan on it, guys. With that being said, please subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications. Thumbs up's appreciated. We'll see who we have coming in next Monday. That'll be fun. And we'll do that. We'll still take I'll still be taking questions, whether it's with Reindeer Games or something else. So we won't change it completely. We'll just have extra that we're doing as well. All right, guys, with that, I'm gonna shut it down. Big old SKD 143. Love all you guys. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV fans, including y'all. Again, happy Hanukkah to those who are starting on Thursday. Stay safe, stay warm, get ready for the holiday season. It's going to be here before you know it. And we'll have fun celebrating it together, potentially Monday night as well. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye. If I can hit the end button. Y'all take it easy, guys. Bye.